So we're referring again to the top of these notes from section 2.2. Now you'll notice at the top of the page it describes a strategy for solving these problems. And some people, there may be places where a particular problem might be easier if you stray from the strategy a little bit. And that's okay. I will probably not do that just to try to get people into the strategy I want them to use for solving these problems. But it's okay if you stray from the strategy, as long as the key thing is going to be you stick to those 4 rules at the end of section 2.1, which are you can add the same thing to both sides of an equal sign, subtract the same thing from both sides of an equal sign, divide both sides of an equal sign by the same thing, and multiply both sides of the equal sign by the same non-zero thing. And if you do that, if you stick with those things, you aren't going to go wrong. But the strategy helps in terms of what do I do first, sort of thing. And often it works. And the strategy, the first thing you'll notice is it says clear fractions from the problem. And the way I'll tend to prompt you to do that is, if we're in a group discussion, I'll say, hey, wait a minute. What is it you don't like about this problem? And if it has fractions, chances are the first thing you're going to say is, well, the fractions. And using those 4 rules, we can usually get rid of the fractions. And then it becomes an easier problem to deal with, usually. That's the one where sometimes people think, you know, I can do something else first and then clear the fraction later. And that's okay if you can do that. That's not how I will demonstrate it. The second rule is once you've cleared the fractions, it will be to clear out parentheses. Now that rule is not going to so much apply today because we don't have parentheses yet in the mix. That's going to come Friday. The third rule is going to be gathering like terms. Now what we mean by like terms, anything with an x in it should be combined with other things with x's in it. All the constant numbers should be combined. So one side of an equal sign should not have like 3x plus 2x. It should in the end have 5x before you move on. The next thing you're going to try to do is get the variables, that is the letters, on one side of the equal sign and the numbers on the other side of the equal sign. And that's going to always involve addition and subtraction, just moving things around. Once you've got things on the appropriate side of the equal sign, you're going to multiply or divide. It usually will be divide, to get the number in front of the x away and leave you with just x all by itself. So those are those steps pretty much in order. The last one I mention, particularly if you have time, is, okay, wait a minute. If this end result really is the solution, then you should be able to substitute it into the original equation and get the correct response.